One of the companies that you're going to hear a lot about from IBEX in the future here coming up is Propspeed, and New Zealand-based company. Marcus Hamilton is with us. Now, you started the company, right?
No, not me. It was Guy Jacobson, founded the business about 26 years ago now.
But you're in charge of all of the new designs and the innovation.
Yes, he's tasked me with the direction of running the company into the future. And I've had the privilege of being the CEO for the last 3 years, but with the business for the last 6. And so in that period of time, Guy and the board have really focused on building a strong strategy and vision and then resourcing that. And I've had the honor and the task to execute.
Well, and you're changing a little bit of the strategy and how you're going to market globally. Tell us about that.
Correct. Yeah. So we understood the importance of inventory locally, right? We can do everything to sell the product, but if it's not available locally, that becomes a real bottleneck. So pre-COVID, we set up warehousing in the US as well as in the Netherlands to ensure that we had inventory local in our growing and emerging markets. Inventory is really important, but for us, our product, we know it performs best when applied correctly. And to ensure that we were getting the very best out of performance and customer service and protecting our brand, we invested really early on a lot of technical sales staff on the ground. And that was a strategic decision to make sure that all of the boat yards and our customers alike could get access to the training to apply the product for the best results.
Now, are you having your own employees go to these boat yards, or is this something that you're teaching and imparting at the boat yard with the technicians that are there?
Yep, the latter. So we're sending our technicians in, and we're running national training programs where we send our guys in to the facilities to train the applicators. And I think that that's been a really valuable part of our story, because we've also had a really strong finger on the pulse of what an actual applicator needs. So over the past 3 years, here at IBEX, we've launched new technologies like Propspeed, which was specifically designed to reduce dust and noise when removing old Propspeed for reapplication and speed up the process. This was something that was actually asked for by the market when they were saying the reapplication process is time consuming and messy. How do we help solve that? And then last year we brought out a new set of rollers specifically designed for the application of our product that enabled applicators to apply it 30% faster. And we were only able to get this feedback because we'd invested in technical sales guys on the ground that were training the professionals and also listening to the professionals as well.
Now tell us about the new products that are out a little bit, because they're making a significant difference, and I'm sure you're measuring the efficiencies and the improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, similar thing, it came from market feedback. I think when we looked at the industry as a whole, one of the goals is how do we attract as many boaters into the industry and retain them as long as possible, right? We want more time, more life spent on the water. To do that, we've seen a huge increase in innovation, all focused at making boating more comfortable, whether it's stabilizing systems or interceptors, bringing confidence for some of those challenging things like docking, and performance, where we're seeing an increase in outboard power technology and horsepower increasing year on year on year, which means that outboards aren't really able to tilt up out the water, especially if you're doing the repowered segment. So when we looked at the comfortability, the confidence and performance, all of these components and all the engineering and innovation still is susceptible to marine growth. And if you get marine growth, you can have a great day on the water turn to a bad day at work when one of those systems fail. So we really wanted to address that problem by bringing a custom solution to the market that was one coating system that could be applied across many different substrates that were made of, that components were made of. And that's what we've delivered and announced here today, which is our foul-free multi-surface system. But more than that, at Propspeed, we looked at how do we bring our existing 26-year-old proven technology that was targeted at vessels traditionally 42 feet and above.
Now you're looking at something a little bit smaller.
Correct. How do we engage consumers early on in their boating life cycle and make sure that we provide that industry protection? With this new foul-free multi-surface, we're engaging boats from 26 feet and above that are outboard powered that we could never engage or serve before. And I think that that's one of the real value adds of this product is it increases the market that we can serve, which is fantastic for our distribution and our boatyard partners alike. It means that customers can engage with Propspeed earlier on in their boating life cycle, so that as they grow up and their family grows and their boat size increases, we can then support them with Propspeed as well. And to do that, we needed to look at our brand architecture a little bit, right? Propspeed's a really well-known and respected brand, and we wanted to retain that, but we also needed to bring a new product to market. So we looked at Propspeed, which is for all underwater metals, and then we took the foul-free brand and we've now expanded that out to all non-underwater metal components. So, sorry, non-metal underwater components. So we now have 2 key brands within our overall company, focused on providing the same solution, biocide-free foul release coating.
10 years ago, environment was one of the big topics. There's so many other things that have happened in the world. Unfortunately, that drops off of the page 1, if you will. How do you keep that message out there, and how important is it? I know it's important to your company.
Yeah.
How important is it in the grand scheme of things? Are you finding the emphasis is still there, or just the attention isn't attached to it?
Yeah, I think certainly at the industry high level, it's always there. We're always talking about sustainability as an industry and finding innovations and ways to adopt that more and more, you know. I think for us, just because from day one when the Jacobson family founded it, it's been part of our values, so we're always prioritizing and looking at that. I think legislation, depending on where you are in the world, is accelerating the industry towards more environmentally friendly solutions. You know, there's certainly more legislation in Europe that's driving a lot of people more towards that foul release coatings. And you're seeing that more and more from some of the big paint manufacturers that are now delivering foul release coatings for commercial and hulls. We've been doing it for 6 years.
You've been doing commercial products for
Yeah.
really big ships for a long time.
Yeah, yes we have. And that commercial segment is another area that we're moving into as well. Again, our origin story started in yachting and pleasure, but for the last 5 to 10 years, we've been moving towards the commercial industry. And part of that is because we believe we can make a significant impact on some of their industry objectives, such as carbon reduction. And, you know, we've done independent studies, you know, that have identified, you know, the application of Propspeed on a commercial fishing vessel can reduce fuel consumption by 4% versus a clean propeller on day one. You start to extrapolate that over a fleet or an industry, and we can have a real
big impact.
Yeah.
What is water temperature doing not only to your application process, if anything, as well as the construction of the components within your product? Do you have to change the formula to adapt to higher temperatures in the water?
Yeah, it's a great question, because the reality of higher temperatures in the water is becoming increasingly consistent. We're seeing water temperatures across the world increase. We're seeing heat waves come on, which create, you know, flourishes of new growth. For us, you know, our technology is still strong in all of those environments. What we are seeing now is the more adoption of our technology, because they're looking for solutions that actually have the foul release property that require a surface where water flow and movement is enough to remove anything that's settled there. And that technology we're seeing, again, leaning in towards foul release. So still very, very relevant technology, even with the increase of water temperature.
In the US, the EPA would be involved. Other countries have their own regulatory procedures.
Yeah.
How do you find acceptance, if you will, from country to country? How challenging is that for you?
Well, because we have no biocides in our coating technology at all, we're able to sell direct into the market. So in Europe, for example, we're professional use only, but again, without the biocides, it makes our access and channel to market a lot easier than, say, traditional anti-fouling that do have to register with EPA state by state.
What do you see in the next couple of years, boating-wise? I mean, I'm asking everybody this question because everyone's watching their inventory levels, trying to get a monitor on, is the industry going up? Is it going down? You know, and there's a lot of reasons for it, obviously. But what do you see?
I mean, some of the statistics this morning at the industry breakfast, right? 10% down on powerboats, but when you get to the larger vessel size, it's pretty much flat, you know? Propspeed's traditional market, we have been there. We're seeing that people are still maintaining their assets, and the higher the value of the asset, they're looking to maintain that value over time. Whether you're boating or you're just tied up, marine growth is still something that you have to address, and our product still has to address those things. So I think from a maintenance standpoint, we're going to see more and more technology coming out to address that part of the segment of the industry. I think we're starting to see a little bit of recovery in other areas of the world, but I think, again, it comes down to some of the points this morning. We need better financing to be able to support the industry in getting access to the vessels that they need. And as we start to see that open up, that's when innovation is going to help separate different boat makes and boat builders apart. So it'd be great to see more innovation out of the people here at IBEX.
Do you find owners of larger luxury vessels tend to pay more attention or get more hands-on, more involved in a product like Propspeed offers versus somebody that has a captain and a crew that takes care of things?
Yeah, it's a great question, actually. It's all along the spectrum. You know, we offer to sailboat owners who are very DIY, and they're very, very passionate about everything that they do. And so therefore they see a lot of value in Propspeed there because they can apply it DIY. They understand that it gives them the extra knot, which can mean, you know, be a huge impact for them in their boating experience. Also, when we get up to the higher captain and crew size vessels, the captain wants to make sure that he's running at high performance, so he treats that boat like his own, and so that's where Propspeed is a strong friend for them. And that at that level, sustainability is becoming more and more part of the discussion when you get to the yachts and the super yacht part. And so Propspeed's biocide free, but also our strong story for performance and reduction of CO2 emissions through reduced fuel. All of that stuff is positive.
It all comes together.
It all comes together, yeah.
Marcus, thank you so much for joining us here at IBEX, and continued success.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for the time, Alan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And from IBEX in Tampa, on behalf of Sounding Straight Only, I'm Alan Wendt.